Hello, fellow classmates. Well, the Second Great Awakening was a religious revival that occurred in the United States beginning in the late 18th century and lasted until the middle of the 19th century. And that was a lot.
Miss Lou, what's poppin'?
And it was pretty. By the way, it's like almost 10 o'clock, Miss Lou. It was strongly more focused in the Northeast and the Midwest. In the late 1700s, many Americans no longer regularly, whatever. They never really attended church services anymore. Daniela, I'm gonna slap you if I can go through the computer. But also, some people now believe that God did not play an important role in everyday life. So this means that people stopped going to church. They didn't believe anymore. There was no more freedom, as I guess you can say, and only not concerned with a person's church attendance, God would judge a person, and he or she had to live his or her life on earth, which is very intense, and I don't really know what that means. But other people had become too confused with earning a living, and
Tomorrow's the 11th.
they don't have much more time
Thursday.
to worship God. So no one worshiped God anymore, and everyone started going to church, and many religious faiths sponsored religious rivals, and this whole mess happened with people's religious backgrounds.
I'll do it second.
Most of the religious rivals occurred at meeting camps and parties that believed in certain things would spend several days hearing the word of God from various religious leaders, which I guess they all didn't say the same thing because it was very like mixing-ish. It was very emotional for some people. No, it was not lies. And they also served as social gatherings. Many Americans living on the frontier did not have regular contact with their neighbors, which means there was lack of communication throughout where these people lived, and lack of people respecting their own religion. I guess everyone had different religious backgrounds. Some people just didn't go to church anymore, which made them not believe. Families have an opportunity to talk and trade with one another when they attended these services. And the Second Awakening was the first influential person was Charles Finney.
Finney. It sounds like saying Vinny, but like in an Italian accent, like Vinny.
Okay, cool. Charles Finney. He was 29 years old, and he was a lawyer. He had decided that he must settle the question of his soul's salvation. So what he believed, he wanted to settle and make that always a religious background. He quotes that I will give my heart to God, and I never will come down from there. Don't know what that means, but that's what he said. Finney prepared for ministry in a church that was built in 1824, which is very interesting on his part. So he did a lot of preaching, and he tried to change people's And comes Ralph Waldo Emerson. He began the career of a minister, but went on as an independent man of letters to become. Your faces are like really funny. Let me tell you.
Totally.
His career as a minister, so he was a minister, but he was an independent man of letters to become the 19th century America.
You liked it.
Yeah, sure. He began then to keep a journal, a practice he continued for the rest of his life, later calling it volumes, as long since published. So he pretty much talked about his believing in. He talked about his religious background and what his family believes in, and he was prized in education, learning, and culture. And he quotes, "In my dreams, I do often hunger and thirst to be a painter." Don't know what that means, but that was one of his poems in his book. In 1830, after war, joined the faculty of Harvard something school. Second church made Emerson a full minister. He was expected to do every afternoon, though he liked preaching. So he pretty much had to. Emerson resigned his something and never served another congregation because everyone disagreed with what he was saying. So they didn't give him any respect, and he often thought he wanted to leave the ministry because he could not, in conscience, serve communion. So he couldn't really do his communion, which sucks. Stinks. Excuse my language.
I just made the weirdest face. I was gonna sneeze. I was like, and then all of a sudden, I went away. Right when you're speaking. So you know what that means? Now when I throw that in there, they really are gonna see my sneezing face.
Alright, anyway. He began a new career as a writer in 1833, which he then pursued.
No way, really?
Yeah, way. And he has many volumes of his background in his life, and Emerson considered his ideas consistent with the teachings of Jesus. He was very strongly religious, and yes, there's a lot more here.
There's a lot more here. That is totally gonna get us an A.
He delivered his first public anti-slavery address in 1844, and he was very against that because he believed that God would not allow for people to be treated like animals. Emerson used his skills effectively in an anti-slavery case. He also influenced in making the case for the of the Civil War when it had begun. He held forth for more freedom and scope in university education and for prior methods in politics and trade. He was very into what he was doing, obviously. But yeah, he was a big part of the Second Great Awakening.
Perhaps one of the most interesting words in the English language today is the word fuck. John's doing all the fucking work. Talks too fucking much.
I just pulled it out of my butt. But okay.
By its sound can describe pain. Come to the club now, gonna bump it.